On February 10th and 11th, Donald Trump signed 2 executive orders that will impose a 25% tariff on imports of steel and aluminum products from Canada, starting on March 12th, so in about 3 weeks from the date of this interview.
The recent steel tariffs have introduced significant challenges for Canadian businesses, particularly in construction, where material sourcing is a critical factor in both cost and project timelines. These tariffs not only impact Build Smartr's ability to procure steel efficiently, but also add uncertainty for investors and stakeholders navigating an already volatile economic landscape. At Goparity, we are committed to highlighting real-world impact of these policies and showcasing how Canadian businesses such as Build Smartr are adapting to these challenges. This interview will explore how Build Smartr is responding to the evolving market conditions, the strategies being implemented to mitigate risks, and how Canadians can come together to support local innovation in construction. With concerns around housing affordability, supply chain disruptions, and material costs, we'll discuss whether these tariffs represent a significant setback or an opportunity for resilience and localization within the industry.
I'm Emily Mercy.
I'm Aditi Basdeo.
And we are joined today with Harv Sidhu from Build Smartr. And today we'll be talking about tariffs.
Yeah, my name is Harv. I'm the CEO and founder of Build Smartr. We are essentially a prefab construction company. We make a 3D model of any type of project. We engineer that project. We build entirely out of light gauge steel. So all of your walls, all of your floor joists, all of your trusses, everything is prefabricated out of light gauge steel, panelized, numbered, sent to the job site, and installed like big Lego blocks. So currently we're purchasing 60 to 70% recycled steel. We have purchased up to 95% recycled steel, kind of from eco lines as well. It really depends on the client's requirements. So right now our steel is being sourced from wholesalers in British Columbia and overseas direct from steel mills, mostly in China and South Korea. I sourced steel from the US just once. It just wasn't cost effective. So yeah, I haven't really sourced from the States for a long time now. Yeah, that's a great question. And tariffs are kind of a tricky topic. It adds a lot of uncertainty. That's kind of the big negative. But what we've seen is Canada is actually a net exporter of steel to the States. And most of the steel that is being sold to America is actually being made overseas. So since we're buying from overseas, we're buying locally, our cost of steel has actually come down. Because now anyone that is selling into the States has to pay this premium, pay this tax. So for us, being a Canadian company manufacturing in British Columbia, the cost of our steel has actually come down a little bit.
That's amazing. So the tariffs have kind of benefited you in that way of bringing prices down, making your product even more economically viable.
Yeah, the way just any tariffs, overall, it probably has a negative impact on the economy, but there's certain areas that might benefit and certain areas that will have a negative impact. It just has this displacement of value that kind of occurs. With that being said, the cost of wood, the cost of lumber is also coming down because as BC is one of the biggest exporters of lumber, there's a big tariff on lumber as well. So kind of in terms of our competition, the price of that is also coming down as well. So that's kind of what we're seeing like boots on the ground this last few weeks here. We haven't seen any major impacts yet. It's a little bit too early to tell the kind of long-term impacts. But as of right now, the same suppliers, the same manufacturers are still making this exact same kind of capacity that they were as of last month. Now, if they start reducing capacity because of the tariffs and the demand is less, then that can kind of have an impact on us long term. Yeah, definitely. We are trying to put more emphasis on our local wholesalers, giving them, kind of more of the business, knowing that they will also kind of have our back if things do change. And, there's other tariffs in other countries. The main thing that, as a country, that we need to do is obviously we need to manufacture stuff, and as a society, we need to diversify. So there needs to be a room for obviously lumber and mass timber and steel and concrete. The more stuff we can make, the more we can diversify. There's a lot of resiliency built into that value and that whole construction chain, and that's really key for long-term sustainability of any business. Yeah, the biggest shift that we've seen, especially in the last month here, obviously there's a big forest fires in LA. The big kind of outcome from that has really been that people have realized that we need to build more resilient buildings that need to withstand forest fires, that need to withstand hurricanes, just buildings and homes that will last longer or take less damage. We're really seeing steel be a major player in that part, being that's a non-combustible home. So that's kind of a big thing, that we need to make these homes stronger to make them last longer. Buying local, buying kind of directly from the Canadian companies is key. And obviously, not everyone will be a client of every single company, but kind of spreading that awareness, spreading that word that there are companies in Canada, in BC, manufacturing and making things. That awareness is really, really key, especially for a startup and any new business. I think a little bit of research goes a long way. So if I am buying something or doing something in construction, a little bit of research into where is this material coming from. Generally speaking, almost every material can be made in Canada and is being made in Canada. A lot of it ends up being kind of a price or a timing kind of thing. The good thing with construction is the labor is obviously localized. So if you are building anything, you are directly hiring local workers to install everything. But yeah, a little bit of research definitely goes a long way into kind of supporting Canadian businesses. We can't control sometimes what politicians do, but we can control kind of our actions and our impact. And the crazy thing is, collectively we can have a huge impact. So one decision, and times 1,000 is a big impact. Yeah, I would kind of say with any uncertainty, there's always a potential to solve a problem. So right now the uncertainty is, okay, we're not sure what materials are going to have tariffs. We're not sure how bad the climate change is going to get, but we have a viable alternative solution that we're working on, that we're actively building construction projects with. So with any uncertainty, there comes this opportunity to actually make a solution, and that solution can have a huge, huge impact right now. Yeah, the best thing right now is to go on Goparity and to join kind of the crowd lending platform there.